Good evening, you're watching the 7 o'clock English news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. His Excellency the Minister responsible for Foreign Affairs discusses solutions of complex problems in the Middle East during his two meetings with the U.S. Secretary of State and U.S. National Security Advisor. As the first experience in the region, the Research Council conducts the operational trial of water probe to track the movement of underwater. And the Gulf Commercial Arbitration Conference discusses in Salalah the real estate development and construction dispute in the Gulf Cooperation Council countries. Those are the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos has sent a cable of greetings to His Excellency President Dr. Alain Bassett of the Swiss Confederation on his country's National Day. His Majesty the Sultan receives a cable of thanks from His Excellency Martin Vizcarra of Peru in reply to His Majesty's cable of greetings on him being appointed the new President of the country. His Excellency Yusuf bin Alawi bin Abdullah, Minister responsible for Foreign Affairs, stressed the importance of the participation of all in reaching solutions for complex problems from which the region is suffering, the need for safeguarding stability and security, and continuing the political work and joint coordination on all aspects. This came during the meeting held by the Minister responsible for Foreign Affairs in Washington with His Excellency U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton. His Excellency started the visit by meeting with Chairman of the U.S. Congress. They discussed the role being played by the Sultanate to bring together all conflicting parties in the region. He concluded the visit by meeting with His Excellency U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. They affirmed the importance of supporting efforts of the UN Special Envoy to Yemen, Martin Griffiths. They also emphasized the need that all parties stay committed to self-restraint to avoid more escalation. The meeting also discussed ways that serve the joint Gulf and U.S. interests to enhance regional stability and cooperation. As the first experience in the region, the Research Council conducted the operational trial of water probe launched from the Wilaya of Hurriyat. The probe concerns with tracking the movements of underwater. The operation of the probe is being implemented in cooperation with the German research establishment Helmholtz. The appliance is used for environmental studies and collection of information on natural and sea phenomena such as the red tide. It's also used for conducting studies on sea pollution and earthquakes monitoring. It's also a wide application in the fields of security, telecommunications, and naval navigation. Through the operation of this probe, the Sultanate aims to find non-conventional water resources to meet the increasing water needs in the country. The works of the 23rd Gulf Commercial Arbitration Conference started under the theme Arbitration in Real Estate Development and Construction Disputes in Gulf Cooperation Council countries. The event, which is being organized by the Commercial Arbitration Center of GCC countries in cooperation with Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industry, branch of the Governorate of the FAR, came to enhance the role of commercial arbitration as a mechanism to settle commercial disputes and attract foreign investments. The program included numerous work papers on legal system of contract negotiations and ways of implementing its various strategies during contract preparation stages. The inauguration ceremony was held under the auspices of His Excellency Sheikh Saif bin Mohammed Al-Shabibi, Minister of Housing. within the aim to discuss the investment opportunities in Duqm and the facilities provided to the owners and small and medium enterprises. Oman Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the Government of Dhofar organized a seminar on investment opportunities in Duqm Economic Zone. It included visual presentations on investment opportunities in the zone, as well as shedding light on the economic and touristic potentials enjoyed by Duqm. The event witnessed a participation from specialized people from Special Economic Zone Authority and businessmen, as well as small and medium-sized enterprises owners in the governorate who got acquainted with the facilities and opportunities available in the zone. The activities of the Summer Scout Camp for the Advanced Scouts were concluded today at the Governorate of Dhofar. The 5-day event witnessed the participation of 430 scouts and guides from the Sultanate, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, and Tunisia. The event is aimed for expertise and cultural exchange among the participants. The event coincided with Kharif season and included a number of sports, social, and cultural activities which aim to provide participants with scout and leadership skills. The conclusion ceremony was held under the patronage of His Excellency Sheikh Salim bin Afet Al-Shanfari, Chairman of the Dhofar Municipality. More than 300,000 tourists visited Dhofar by the end of the 5th week of the end of July, with an increase by more than 56% compared to the same period of last year. According to statistics issued by the National Center for Statistics and Information, around 70% of the tourists who visited Kharif came through land border posts. Tourists from the Gulf, including Omanis, represented 92% of the total number of tourists. The number of tourists from other Arabian countries reached more than 8,000, while tourists from Europe reached more than 1,300. Still to come on News Bulletin. Indiana Jones of Thailand fear they will lose their living spaces on the river due to urban developments.
عبق فاح بين جنباتها، فنفثت سلاما برائحة لبانها. حلقت عاليا نحو السماء، فنقشت بأبجدياتها تاريخا جميلا، وبكرمها أمست مضربا للأمثال. مهرجان صلالة السياحي 2018 من 10 من يوليو إلى 25 من أغسطس.
Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman Television. The Royal Army of Oman celebrated the graduation of Limited Service Officers round. The ceremony was held in the military parade ground in the Sultan Qaboos Military College. The graduating officers performed Long March military parade before the main dais. Then the chief guest handed over the appreciation prizes to graduates who achieved the first places. The ceremony was presided over by Air Vice Marshal Matar bin Ali Al-Ubaidani, Commander of the Royal Air Force of Oman. Oman Air revealed that the commercial cargo operations for the first half of 2018 compared to the same period in 2017, indicated a 25% increase in business. This follows on from a 38% increase in business for the year 2017 and a 5% increase in 2016. The new cargo facility featured 22,780 square meters air-conditioned warehouse with the capacity to handle 350,000 tons of cargo per annum, a substantially larger capacity than the previous cargo facility. In order to support small and medium-sized enterprises in the Sultanate, National Business Center organized the second forum for the social media pioneers. The forum discusses means of supporting small and medium enterprises and challenges facing marketing strategy for these projects. The forum acquainted the participants with means of marketing and promoting products through social media network. One of these means is to employ prominent media figures in the marketing and promotion of these projects. The event aims to strengthen social media network role in the development of small and medium-sized projects and highlighting services rendered by those projects which are pushing a wheel of development of the national economy. The forum was accompanied by a discussion session which reviewed the role of social media activities in promoting SMEs. Oman oil price September delivery 2018 today reached $73.51. Dubai Mercantile Exchange statement said that the price of Oman oil today rose $1.07 from the price of yesterday Monday, which was $72.44. The average price of Oman oil August delivery 2018 has stabilized at $73.61. That's 80 cents per barrel lower than July delivery 2018. On other news, the Syrian government regained control of the frontier with the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights for the first time in 7 years after the militants gave up their last pocket of the territory in the area. The breakthrough against the militants, reported by state media and an opposition-linked war monitoring group, kept a 6-week-long campaign to retake the southwest corner of the country. Rebels captured the area along the Golan Heights after a popular uprising broke out in 2011. A Daesh-linked outfit known as the Khalid bin al-Walid Army later seized the area from the opposition fighters. The Britain-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said the militants surrendered control of the Yarmouk Basin in southwestern Syria yesterday. The U.S. military in Africa has taken steps to increase the security of troops on the ground, adding armed drones and armored vehicles, and taking a harder look at when American forces go out with local troops. The head of the U.S. Air Africa Command, General Thomas Waldhauser, told reporters that the U.S. also has cut the response time needed for medical evacuations, the result of broad review of the wake of last year's ambush in Niger that killed 4 U.S. soldiers and 4 of their Niger counterparts. Waldhauser said a report is due in mid-August on actions taken in response to the findings. He released a report in May on the ambush, which has been blamed on extremist links to the Daesh group. He stopped off in Senegal while in the region for the annual Senior Leader and Communication Symposium in Cape Verde. The U.S. maintains a small site at Camp Cisse in Dakar's old airport that follows for U.S. military aircraft to land and refuel. Generals from the rival Koreas met today at their shared border at Panmunjom for the talks meant to ease a decade-long military standoff. The meeting comes days after North Korea returned to the reported remains of U.S. war dead, the most recent sign of blossoming diplomacy after last year's threats of war. The general level officers were discussing ways to implement April's inter-Korean summit agreements on non-nuclear military issues. During the April 27th summit, the leaders of the Korean agreed to disarm a jointly controlled area of Panmunjom, work to prevent accidental clashes along their disputed sea boundary, and hold all hostile acts. Since then, the Koreans dismantled their frontline propaganda loudspeakers, restored a military hotline, and held their first general-level talks since 2007. And officials said at least 14,000 people are under evacuation orders in an area of Northern California that has been hit by deadly wildfire in the past 4 years. Another 1,000 people have been displaced in neighboring Mendocino County. A Lake County sheriff said that 2 blazes are encroaching on Lake Port, Upper Lake, and Nice, but have not yet reached heavily populated areas. He said residents have been heeding evacuation orders because they have seen the destruction caused by the past fires. The impoverished county, about 180 kilometers northwest of Sacramento, has been hit by several wildfires since 2015 that destroyed thousands of homes and killed at least 4 people. And finally, meet the small community known as the Thailand's Indiana Jones divers who brave Bangkok's Chao Phraya River for sunken treasures. They use a makeshift helmet which is hooked up to a rubber tube connected to an air tank. The tank pumps oxygen into the helmet to keep water out, allowing the most experienced divers to drop down to 30 meters below the surface. More details in the following report.
They call him the Professor. Using his homemade gear, he's been hunting for treasure in Bangkok for 30 years. A short prayer and he's off into the murky depths.
There are the villagers' coins for normal spending. In the old days, we lived on waterfront rafts and had floating markets. Villagers lost their jewelry and money in the river.
The haul? A few bits of copper, resale value at $15 US. That's twice the minimum daily wage in Thailand. While technically legal, what worries divers like Boo Min is urban development. Bangkok authorities want these houses on stilts to go.
If they move us to the city centre, 90% of us will lose our jobs, because it will be very difficult to access the river.
Despite the problems, the next generation seems willing to take the plunge.
It's like an adventure. It's fun. We can do it indefinitely. We don't know what we're going to find or where we'll be.
Rare pieces can sometimes reach $300 at the antiques market, a holy grail for these latter-day Indiana Joneses.
Now for the focus around the Sultanate, cloudy skies prevail over the coastal areas of the Governorate of Dhofar and the nearby mountains with chances of intermittent drizzle, and the rest of the Sultanate will have clear skies with chances of cloud accumulation and scattered rainfall over the Hajar Mountains. Low clouds and fog late at night and early morning are expected over the coast of the Arabian Sea and Sea of Oman. Winds will be southeast light to moderate and still be slight to moderate with a maximum wave height around 1.45 meters. This is the Sultan of Oman television. Before tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Excellency the Minister responsible for Foreign Affairs discusses solutions for complex problems in the Middle East during his two meetings with the U.S. Secretary of State and the U.S. National Security Advisor. As the first experience in the region, the Research Council conducts the operational trial of water probe to track the movement of underwater. And the Gulf Commercial Arbitration Conference discusses in Salalah the real estate development and construction disputes in Gulf Cooperation Council countries. And with that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin from all of us here in the newsroom and the studios. Thanks for your time. Good night.